What are the reasons that you have noticed that candidates leave businesses? Good candidates.
The most common reason is that they're being managed badly, and that usually comes out of somebody being promoted and suddenly they're put in charge of managing a team, but they're not upskilled. Like, there's an assumption from the powers that be that they will automatically know how to manage people.
There's a lack of communication there in terms of the feedback to the candidate that's been employed and how well they are doing.
Before we kick off today's episode, I've got some more recommendations for you. My first recommendation to you is Infinity Staff Global. Ross and the team specialise in finding you outsourced and offshore staff based out in South Africa. I can talk from experience, fantastic members of staff, but they can help you get 180-degree recruiters, 360 degrees recruiters, back office support, marketing professionals, or even business development professionals for your team. Link in the comments. Next up is Matt Fox and Exodus Advisory. If you're an agency that's looking for guidance and growth advice, if you're looking for mentoring, if you're looking for a recruitment leader to take you from startup through to sell up, Matt Fox is your guy. This is a person who recently went through exiting an agency, explored all the different options, and is very well placed to help you tailor your business model and your business strategy to achieving the exit that you are looking for. My next recommendation is SourceFlow. Now, there's lots of reasons to recommend SourceFlow, but one that stands out for me is their attribution analytics and their actual ROI tools. So SourceFlow shows you agencies exactly where every candidate and every client lead comes from, and soon you'll even be able to do revenue analytics and let you decide and figure out the ROI of every placement that's been made via your website. Again, link in the comments. My next recommendation is The Marketing Junction. So if you're looking to increase your sales and profits, reduce costs, and choose recruitment marketing specialists who've got years of hard-won experience, get in touch with Robert Woodford and the team and take your recruitment marketing that little bit more seriously. My final recommendation for you is none other than Conquest. Carl and the team are the only commission management platform in the recruitment industry. So if you're looking to automate, calculate, and motivate your recruiters using their commission structures, if you want to keep an eye out what's going on, if you want advice and recommendations on how you should be structuring your commissions, get in touch with Carl and the team. Link in the descriptions. Welcome to a special edition of Founder Diaries, a RecTalk podcast. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, founder of RecTools.io. RecTools, for those of you who don't know, is the only whole-of-market directory of your entire recruitment supply chain in one place. So whether you run a recruitment business, a talent acquisition team, or just direct hire, head to RecTools.io. There's tools there that you may not even know exist that will help you within your recruitment business or your talent acquisition team. My guest today, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves in a moment, but are here to talk about how your hiring process is broken. We often hear the term recruitment is broken, your process is broken, recruitment processes are broken, but actually it's your hiring process in your opinion, isn't it, ladies?
Certainly is.
And so we'll kick things off with a little introduction, and then we'll go into the details of what you guys have found throughout your short career in recruitment so far.
Yeah, right.
So over to you. Would you like to introduce yourselves to camera?
Thank you very much, Nitin. Yes. My name's Kirsty Craig. I have been in the recruitment industry for the best part of 40 years now, and there is not a lot I haven't seen. I've worked for myself since 1988, and I have had a lot of learnings along the way.
Thanks, Nitin. I'm Pauline. I'm from Neom Recruitment. I set up my business 5.5 years ago. I too have been in recruitment for quite a while, so it's about 26 years now. Mm-hmm. And most definitely the passion that I have within recruitment really I'd like to think it shines out in everything that I do. And the subject that we're talking about today, I feel like it's great to be able to have that voice and say something about how we feel things could really improve.
I totally agree with that. That's well said. Absolutely. And I think, for me, we're probably both at a point in our careers now. We have all this knowledge and that we've gained over the years, and that's working with both clients and candidates. And the experience of doing that has, that knowledge base that we now have to offer and to share with companies to help them manage the hiring process so much better, because it's not just about putting a job ad out and dealing with the applications. There's so much more to it than that. And particularly in today's world of technology, social media, and you sort of come back to the company's own brand as an employer. It's not just a brand about what you do as a business, your product or your service. It's about, what do you represent to people looking for a job with you? And really that's where this has come from, hasn't it, Pauline?
Definitely. Yeah.
And because we're finding more and more candidates being a lot more choosy about whether they will apply for the vacancy that you're advertising. There was a stat recently I came across when I was on a webinar that apparently 88% of candidates will now research your company to death before they actually will apply for your vacancy. And of that 88%, something like 74% will not apply for your vacancy if they don't like what they see. So how do you know, you need to look at your employer
what
brand.
Do you think they're looking for?
I think that a company that has solid values is even more important. Would you say, Pauline?
Definitely the values. I think some of the things that they want are not the obvious things that a client will think about. So it's how the feeling of the business is, the culture, how they're going to settle, what they're going to be empowered with, the training, the induction, the coaching, and their success story as a business, and they want to be part of that. And so as much as it's to do with the skill set and the requirements of the job, I feel like actually the culture has a little bit more of a shine on it now. It's so important now to candidates, particularly the younger generation. They want to feel that they're making the right decision.
Yeah.
And the point of what you've just said there, Kirsty, is quite often when we take a job spec, and the client will say, this is what I need. This is what I need. I'm looking for this, this, and this. But it is a two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But they often just give you a kind of shopping list of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And go and find it.
They tend to focus on skills and experience. What they don't look at are the softer skills, if you like, for want of a better expression. And you're right, Pauline, because at the end of the day, it's ultimately about the fit, and the fit doesn't just work one way.
No.
It's a two-way street, as you said, and it's absolutely critical. And I'm continually amazed, even after all these years in recruitment, just how many companies don't get that. And to me, it's just kind of normal. I mean, why wouldn't you think about that? But so, what the personality, I suppose, isn't it really, Pauline? Yeah. The personality of your business, how that shines through, and is that your personality? Does that fit with the personality of the applicant?
How much do you think it comes down to the fact that there's a lack of education in this area, right? Because you guys are boots on the ground. You know what you're looking out for. You're hearing these things from these candidates all the time. Yes, I'll go forward for that job. No, I don't want to speak to that client. Absolutely not interested, or whatever, right? How often are you guys feeding that back to your clients? Because certainly from where I sit and all the things that I do, there are businesses out there that will help companies consider their employer value proposition and their employer brand. But it comes at a premium. And it's no different to when I get DM'd all the time and they're like, oh, you need to look at your SEO and improve your SEO. I might do. I don't know enough about it. I don't care. You haven't educated me. See you later. I'm not going to engage with that. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
So why do we think people aren't bothered by it or aren't interested in hearing about it? How much of this is down to education? And why do you feel recruiters and recruitment agencies are not educating their clients?
Well, I certainly do, and we do at KCA People, and I've always believed that, and it was one of the drivers that made me go on my own all those years ago.
That's a good plug as well, wasn't it?
We do it, KCA. Well, to me, it's just common sense, because, and maybe I'm a bit of an oddity like that, I don't know, but
I think you are, because I know running my recruitment business, none of my team would have ever had the bottle to pick up the phone to their client and say, I just had a client, or I've had 3 candidates in a row say this about your business. Thought you might want to know that. They just wouldn't do it, So why do we think that there's? I know you do it, Pauline, with your clients, but that's because
I do, but don't get me wrong. I've done this job for a very long time, but there are times where some clients that you have don't want to hear that. They there is some resistance and actually,
is it not our job though as recruiters
to
tell them that I don't care whether you want to hear it or not, you're going to hear
absolutely
it.
Right.
Tough shit. You're going to
absolutely
hear
right.
You know what I mean?
But at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water, And so, you're right, Pauline, there are some companies who don't want to know, don't want to hear. And in that case, I walk away from them because if I cannot recommend your business as a great place to work, I can't work with you. I cannot do that to my candidates. So I'll make that decision, never mind the candidate, So but having said that,
but you work retained, don't you?
I do now, yeah. I have done.
So, Pauline, you don't work as much retained.
I'd love
so
to be
would you
on
walk
marketing.
away from a client that you were like, I know these
Not
guys are
always.
notoriously poor employers?
And I think the reason why I wouldn't always walk away is particularly a lot of my clients are quite close to me. I've known them for a long, long time. And you want to work collaboratively with them. And sometimes it takes them time to digest what you're saying to them. To just walk away. I'm not saying that I want to be the fixer because I'm never going to be the fixer. But to just have a voice and for them to consider what you've said and maybe readdress it at a later date or maybe go visit them and say, what about this? We had a conversation back 3 months. This is what's happened in that process. Have you had any more thoughts to that? And maybe that's something that I do more so of because I don't work on retained. I think when you work on retained, it's a little bit different.
It is, and I would say that in fairness to my clients, it's very rare they're not open to listening, and because half the time it's because I've never thought about it like that, and that's a classic response I get, and it's when you actually sit down and have that sort of an frank and honest conversation with them and sort of ask them certain questions that they've never even thought about. It's a bit like a light bulb moment, and then they start to open up and then they realise where the weaknesses are perhaps in their business and what they need to look at, and then so it's an evolution process almost. And then it's equally, if I think even at the end of the conversation, and I think, this company could be a really great place to work, but I will be honest with the candidate and say, I think you should apply for this. Because, okay, there's weaknesses here, but I said they're on it, and
but they're addressing them. There's a big difference, isn't there, between saying, this is a problem that they're aware of and they're doing something about it, versus, just so you know, people moan about this.
And we will work with the client as well, helping them on those gaps, and sort of using our experience and skills to help them sort it all out. And so it's a true partnership as far as I'm concerned, and that's what we want.
So in your experiences then, through your years in recruitment, what are the reasons that you have noticed that candidates leave businesses? Good candidates. Because employee retention is a really difficult thing to do, right? And it's all too easy for business owners to go, oh, wow, that's a one-off case, and that's a one-off case. And that person in particular wanted something we couldn't give them. And that person in particular, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we end up finding that they make excuses for every, they have a reason for every single move.
Yeah.
But actually, we all know that when there's a consistent flow of something, there's usually a trend and there's usually a reason. So,
well, the most common reason is that they're being managed badly, and that usually comes out of somebody being promoted, having done a really great, successful job on their own, doing whatever it was they were doing, and then sort of 2, 3, 4 years in, they get promoted to the next level, and suddenly they're put in charge of managing a team, but they're not upskilled, and it's almost like there's an assumption from the powers that be that they will because they've been promoted, they will automatically know how to manage people, and that is very, very rare. And so, again, that's something that we work with our clients on, is so that's fantastic, but you now need to make sure you upskill them so they know how to look after their team, to make them feel valued and appreciated, that they matter, and that they matter as people, not just as the team, as individuals.
I think on that as well, before it gets to that level of them being promoted, if they don't get to that level of being promoted, they actually leave before that happens.
That's another side of it, yeah.
Sometimes a candidate can leave and actually they thought everything was going okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought everything was going okay, to be honest with you. I didn't really think I was doing that much of a bad job, which goes back to what you were saying, Kirsty, about the management of that person and the onboarding and the TLC that's happening in their journey, in their career with that business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes that's just missing. And so there's a lack of communication there in terms of the feedback to the candidate that's been employed and how well they are doing.
Yeah. Well, I think, my lovely husband always used to say, a fish rots from the head. And so if you want to understand why the culture of an organisation is as it is, you look at the people at the top of the tree. And he's absolutely right. And because I've seen that time and time again in my career. And I can think of a big company that was in Chester, and another big company of a similar nature arrived, and people voted with their feet from the original company, and I found out why. Was because they were, even during their notice period, they were being managed so badly, almost bullying. And I more digging turned out that the guy at the top, the MD, was a bully. That was his management style. And so his managers thought, well, that's how you manage. And it just filters down. And so
it's funny how often people manage in the way that they were managed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's
because they don't know.
You learn by rote.
Yeah, no. But see, I used to feel that way. I used to be like, well, they don't know any different, right? And sort of almost try and make excuses for people. Oh, well, that person's obviously had a poor manager, and therefore. But that's like saying, oh, I'm a bad parent because my parents weren't great with me. You know, we all invest in our own kind of personal development and go, well, hang on a minute. I'm going to be a dad now, or I'm going to be a mother now, so I need to now learn some new things, right? And figure out how to be a certain way. And I can't do this anymore. I need to do less of this and more of this. We all know that. Yet for some reason in the working world, we go, oh, I've been promoted, but I'm just going to carry on being the way I am. I'm not going to learn how to be a manager or how to motivate people. I'm not going to invest in myself as a leader. No, I'll just, my boss was an arsehole, so I'm going to be an arsehole,
Well, I think that one of the lessons I've learnt, even before I started working for myself, actually, was the importance of being able to self-reflect and to be. I'm my own biggest critic now. Don't know about you, Pauline, but
definitely.
I am.
That's how you self-learn. You're teaching yourself that.
Yeah, you have absolutely.
Why that happened? What should I do differently?
And I think, but you have to have that open mind. I think, and I think that. Again, it comes back to personalities and behaviours, doesn't it? At the end of the day, and I 10 years ago, I did my ILM Level 7 Executive and Coaching Mentoring qualification, and part of that was about being self-reflective, and I was really quite chuffed that I found I was naturally self-reflective. Well, I'm very lucky because a lot of people are not like me, and but I'm so thankful I am, because it's invaluable, And if I get something wrong, if I get a reaction from a client or a candidate that I wasn't expecting, I think, and I want to understand why, and I think
you sort of take it personally, and you got to figure out, I need to know
exactly, and so I think the same applies at every level in the working situation, quite honestly. And I think if we all learnt to be a bit more self-reflective, perhaps we wouldn't have the mess that the world is in today. But anyway, that's another story entirely.
You're right. You are right. You are right. I think where do you see the biggest kind of breakdown in a hiring process at the moment for a business? Is it the arrogance of we want this, here's our shopping list, bring that to us? Is it the not partnering properly with a proper recruitment consultancy? And I use the word consultancy, not agency, for a reason. Is it not upskilling the teams? There's got to be one thing that if I'm a business owner and I'm watching this, and I'm saying these two ladies really, really know what they're talking about, but where do I start? What's the first thing I should be looking at? I would say your employer brand, really. What's it going out to? Because you've got to attract the people in the first place. I would struggle, in all honesty, Nitin, to say there is one standout thing, because I think it's, we've looked at this in detail, and the whole journey from the time you decide you need to recruit somebody. Is it going to be somebody that's replacing somebody else? Is it a new vacancy? Because the decisions behind why you want to recruit, I think, are absolutely key. As well. Yeah.
Absolutely key, because that again determines how you go out to market with your job ad, and the job ad. How well written is your job ad? Do you actually know about how the algorithms work on all the job boards? Because that's been a learning for me. And bearing in mind, I come from the original time in recruitment when it was filing cabinets, and you had to, and I can't even remember how we actually got the job ads in the papers now. But anyway, so things have changed dramatically since then, and so it's a much more complex jigsaw puzzle than I think companies appreciate.
I think before all of that, I think it's the perception of what that business understands, how they've been portrayed in the actual marketplace. What do they know about how they are perceived out in the marketplace? And what I mean by that is, if you've got a client that is constantly advertising, candidates know that. They know that job's been up for 3 months.
People aren't stupid.
Why are they still looking? That job was up only 6 months ago. Do people not last within that business? And I think the whole perception of how they understand they are being, the feel of that business out towards the public, I think is where it starts. And the interesting thing behind that is, you know, we talk about the process and everything else and the job ad and how it has to be perfected to attract the right people. And this is going back to what candidates are looking for. You know, what people include in a job spec or an advertisement, to understand how that business is. And I think we are more informed of knowing what that business is like than a client going to market themselves and advertising that position themselves and thinking, I'm going to have a go at this. I'm going to put this on Indeed and I'm going to find somebody myself. I think there are so many things that you can do to change the way that you attract people and get the buy-in from both sides for long-term retention. But there are HR companies that have slick processes. The biggest thing that I hear from candidates is they send the CV. They don't ever hear anything. They hear nothing.
No.
You know,
I'm so glad you brought that one up. That for me, I think, is if you were to ask me the question that I asked you in terms of a client says to me, where do I start? That's where I would start. How about you treat people like people? How about you accept the fact that some of these people are behind on their bills and have been unemployed for a little period of time and things are getting a bit tight? How about you understand that some of these people are desperate to hear back and pick up a job because they are, they're up against it. How about you start there? It is not acceptable to say, wow, we just can't keep up with the volume of applications.
No.
What an arrogant, pricky place to stand and say, well, the reason and I've had this argument with talent acquisition leaders at places like RecFest and IHR conferences where I've gone, how dare you sit there with your chest out and say, we've just got so many applications. Well, whoop-de-doo, good for you, right? Because you're the same people who, when you're going to be out of work, are going to be posting on LinkedIn and saying, isn't it disrespectful how I've applied for 100 positions and not heard back from a single one?
Funny
You're feeding the system that you've created, right? So we go out and then, and I'll go on my tech rant in a minute about how all this tech that's been built, to help us harass people as a service. Well, do you know what? If you just reposition that tech, you'll be able to just keep people updated.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Quite.
We live in the world where I can order a pizza and I know exactly what's going on with it.
Yeah.
It's in the oven. Oh, Marco is spinning it around, Oh, hang on. The person that's going to be picking it up, they've got it. They're on their little scooter. They're about 2 minutes. If my pizza app has accepted, or my pizza vendor has accepted that you need to know where your food is and where you are in the process to prevent you from picking up the phone to me and being like, oi, I ordered my pizza 45 minutes ago, where is it? Right? If they can understand that, why can't we in recruitment and in talent and in hiring, why can't we do that? How unfair is that?
I know, and I totally agree with you. And I think one of the most annoying phrases I see in job ads, and if you don't hear from us within 2 weeks, you can assume you haven't been successful. Excuse me? I mean, how damn rude,
But on the flip coin of that, if the client was actually looking at those early applicants and they were on that at the time of entry and people applying for the roles, they're missing out on top talent.
Yeah, because sometimes the best application was application number 312.
I know.
So let me ask you, and again, I've asked this to TA leaders, so let me ask you a really simple question. Are you looking for the best candidate or are you looking for the first candidate? Right? And as recruitment agencies and consultancies, our job is to figure that out pretty quick. Yeah. And I say this to my team all the time. You need to figure out, do they want the best candidate or do they want the cheapest candidate or do they want the first candidate through the door? Because if they want the cheapest candidate, we're not the agency.
Correct.
If you want the fastest candidate, the first through the door, the first CV that they can get over the line, well, hey, guess what? There are businesses with teams all over the world that will work throughout the night to find you 5 suitable CVs for you to interview so you can get somebody in post on Monday.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, be my guest. Right? Please be my guest. If you want the best candidate for the job, why are you going to come from your first 10 applicants, your first 100 applicants? The best applicant is in there. So then why don't we use the tech to whittle down my 500 applications to give me a long list of 20, 25. Here's my criteria. Go through now, AI, you're so powerful and so all-knowing, right? So why don't you do that for me?
Yeah.
And then, once you've done that and you know, okay, this is why the top 10% of these applicants have been selected, then personalize a message to everyone who didn't meet that criteria and let them know why. Because if you can fire out a message to me, if you can automate, while you're sipping martinis on a beach somewhere, your LinkedIn can send me a message, identify that I'm your ICP. It can customize me a welcome message and say, oh, hey, I see that you went to such and such university. I've got a friend that went to such and such university. Or you can look that if your tech is that intuitive that it can pretend to be a human and reach out on your behalf and all the rest of it. So why don't we do that? I'll tell you why we don't do that, because that's not revenue generating, or we don't perceive it to be revenue generating. That's for my answer would be to clients is, why don't you start there? Why don't you just start treating people a bit better? Because actually, those candidates who then go, I didn't get the job at that company, but the process was good.
Yeah, exactly.
They kept me updated throughout the whole thing. So the next time they hire, I'm going to apply.
Yeah.
Or if there's something that I see and I go, do you know what? My uncle's really good at that, or my wife's brother's really good at that, or whatever. Yeah. I mean, let me recommend that. You've got ambassadors working for your business
unconsciously
who don't even work for you. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
My first recommendation to you is Infinity Staff Global. Ross and the team specialise in finding you outsourced and offshore staff based out in South Africa. I can talk from experience, fantastic members of staff, but they can help you get 180-degree recruiters, 360-degree recruiters, back office support, marketing professionals, or even business development professionals for your team. Link in the comments. Next up is Matt Fox and Exodus Advisory. If you're an agency that's looking for guidance and growth advice, if you're looking for mentoring, if you're looking for a recruitment leader to take you from startup through to sell up, Matt Fox is your guy. This is a person who recently went through exiting an agency, explored all the different options, and is very well placed to help you tailor your business model and your business strategy to achieving the exit that you are looking for. My next recommendation is SourceFlow. Now, there's lots of reasons to recommend SourceFlow, but one that stands out for me is their attribution analytics and their actual ROI tools. So SourceFlow shows you agencies exactly where every candidate and every client lead comes from, and soon you'll even be able to do revenue analytics and let you decide and figure out the ROI of every placement that's been made via your website. Again, link in the comments. My next recommendation is the Marketing Junction. So if you're looking to increase your sales and profits, reduce costs, and choose recruitment marketing specialists who've got years of hard-won experience, get in touch with Robert Woodford and the team and take your recruitment marketing that little bit more seriously. My final recommendation for you is none other than Conquest. Carl and the team are the only commission management platform in the recruitment industry. So if you're looking to automate, calculate, and motivate your recruiters using their commission structures, if you want to keep an eye out what's going on, if you want advice and recommendations on how you should be structuring your commissions, get in touch with Carl and the team. Link in the descriptions.
It's not rocket science, is it? But it's amazing how people just don't think like that, and I mean, it's one of the reasons I went on my own, set up my own agency all those years ago for the 2 agencies I worked for in London. It was just about filling the vacancy and getting your invoice out and getting it paid, and candidates were commodities, and I think unfortunately with a lot of recruiters, it's still very much the same, hence agency versus consultancy.
Yes.
And for me, and I know it's the same for you too, Pauline, your candidates are as important as your clients are. And we have, they're human beings, and we have a duty of care to look after them properly and respect
in some
them.
sectors, the candidates are more important than the clients.
Yeah.
Because there's an influx of the clients always hiring for good people, but those good people either don't want to move or aren't looking to move, right? Yeah. The law sector is a perfect example like that. Accountancy practice is exactly the same as that. These are fee-earning, billing people who know their worth.
Yeah.
And guess what? You can't treat them like shit.
No.
But when you notice it, the talent acquisition teams and the tech that they purchase and the hiring process in those businesses is very candidate-centric. Now that's not because they care more. Let's be really clear about this. That's because they know that it's a limited talent pool and they cannot risk pissing these people off.
Yeah.
So why don't we just use that same mentality and go, well, actually, do you know what? Yeah, yes, I have a manufacturing business that recruits for welders, and yes, we churn through welders when there's work and when there's not work or whatever. But how about you just treat people with a bit of dignity anyway? Because they'll come to you.
I think that comes down to the owner, manager,
it's the leadership,
MD, the leadership, you know, and
which comes back to your original point, right?
Yeah.
If the MD's a bully, the rest of the business is a bully.
Yeah. And if the MD doesn't get it and doesn't have the emotional intelligence to understand and appreciate his or her people, then again that thinking filters down, and because that's just the way we are, you know. And in today's world that isn't going to wash anything.
But this comes back to my point at the start, though, right? As recruitment consultants, it's our job to educate these people, right? Yeah. Because actually, it's all well and good saying that, oh yeah, well, you know, they need to be told. They need to be told. No, you need to tell them. Because oftentimes they don't know.
No.
Even if I'm running a local manufacturing business, or a local travel agency, or just a local SMB business, I'm that stressed and that busy that sometimes I don't know what's going on in my business. I thought I hired the right people. I thought the people around me were happy, but I'm that busy and I'm that stretched that I don't know what's actually going on. What a way to build trust! What a way to build credibility! What a way to actually have a lasting client, to go and sit down and say, just so you know, Kirsty, just so you know, Pauline, this is, the fallout of the way that the business has behaved over the last 6 months. I know you've lost a certain amount of people. I know where they've gone. They're my candidates, they're my clients. I work with these people all the time. And that's a strong BD call.
Very much so.
Not a na boo boo, I've stole all your clients, and no, I've stole all your staff. No. Hey, there's a problem here. Now, you might be happy some of these people left.
The other thing as well is when the job specs come through, or when you're speaking to a client, the criteria of what a client is looking for now can be so specific.
Yeah.
They are looking for a little golden nugget. They are.
And they don't exist.
But on the other side of that, what is that business doing to ensure that they're future-proofing the talent that is there and upskilling? If there is a skill shortage, what are they doing on their journey for the next 2, 3, 4 years to make sure that doesn't happen? Because if it's bad now, where are they going to be in the future?
Yeah.
See, this is what good talent acquisition teams do. I'm going to steal a phrase from Sean Kennedy, who's our Talking Talent host on RecTalk. But he very eloquently put it that every hiring manager wants a unicorn until you present them with a fully functional horse.
Oh, that's wonderful. Right. I really like that.
And
I really like that.
So true.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
Right? And he's a very good person for this. And there's some really good talent acquisition people out there, right? Who are very, very good at sitting down with line managers and be like, look, that's great. We'll find this person. But how did we get here? How did we get here? How have you got an engineering team of 50 people, software engineering team of 50 people, and only 3 in the entire team know how to use that tech stack? How? How has that happened? We can't look, and one of those 3 is leaving. That's 33% of skill set gone overnight.
Yeah.
And you knew this person was planning on leaving 6 weeks ago, and then you've waited this 4-week notice period because you thought you might be able to save them and convince them to stay, and they leave next Tuesday, and now you want me to go and find this skill set. And I used my AI tools and all the rest of it. And let me tell you how many people have this skill set in the local geographical area, because hey, guess what? The boss wants everyone back in the office 5 days a week. Yeah. Right? This many people, 12, 18, 25, 100, whatever. So what's our strategy to attract these people? What are we doing as a business? Why should, here's people that work for our direct competitors with the same skill set. Why would they leave there to come here? If you worked there, would you come here? Or flip it on its head, if they rang you up tomorrow and said, same money, same hours, same everything, but I want you to come and work for me. No. Right. So because we know we can't pay them more, and we know we're not letting them work from home. We know we're not going to upskill their skill set, because actually only 3 people have managed to learn new skills while being here of your team of 50. The rest of them are still doing the same thing. So what exactly are we doing here? You tell me how am I supposed to attract these people for you? That's what good TAs do. So I get really annoyed when you hear agency owners say things like, oh yeah, well only failed recruiters end up in TA. No. People who didn't like business development, i.e. the sales calls that you used to blast them for, they ended up in TA. What these guys, the good ones, are really good at doing is sitting with these hiring managers and having these conversations. Now, what a nice skill set that would be for a recruitment consultancy to be able to do.
Yeah.
Hey, this is great. I'm so glad that you want to work with us on this job, and you're going to retain us, and we're going to do a great job on this. But I need to understand something.
Yeah.
How the fuck did we end up here in the first place? Yeah. How did this happen?
Absolutely right. Couldn't agree more. And that's how I now work. I've been over the years, I've evolved into what I am now, and that's exactly the approach I take. And
the mic keeps covering you keep you keep leaning this way, and then the mic's over your face, and then I'm like, I don't want you looking at it afterwards, being like, what the hell? I look like I've got a mic as a head.
It's okay. It's for a reason.
So I moved it there, and now you've gone this way again.
Sorry.
Like you want to move away from the mic, just say.
Anyway. I can't remember where we were now.
The thing I was going to say is, these guys that are leaving, do they just walk out of the door and the clients are just so fed up with the fact that they're leaving, they don't pull them back and ask them the real reason why they've gone?
I think this is a really good point.
What do they want to hear the answer?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know how you know whether or not they take exit interview seriously or not? Whether or not they ask HR to do it?
Yes, quite.
If I'm a person of management or leadership responsibility, I want to sit and talk. Kirsty, what went wrong here? How do I make sure this doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
I appreciate where we are now, and you've got this is not my way of trying to retain you. This is my way of trying to understand. How do I make sure I don't lose more people like you?
Yes, exactly right.
If I don't give a shit, I'm going to get HR to do it. Because, that sounds like a HR job. We should let HR do it. And what are HR doing? They're sitting there to find trends and take data back to analyse it and say, as a business, 90% of the people that left for a pay rise. So that means that we're not paying enough. But is that the root cause of why people left? Or did you just ask the questions in such a way because that was what the answer you were looking for was?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not HR's fault. The responsibility shouldn't sit with them. It should sit with the hiring managers.
Absolutely right, and also perhaps the manager of the department where the person was working. They need to be part of the conversation too.
Yeah, I was going to say that because if you've got somebody that's not got on with the manager, and that's the reason why they're leaving, you're not going to tell that person why they're leaving.
But I think a good recruiter should be having these conversations at job pickup brief. When you're taking the job brief.
Absolutely.
Look, why did that person leave? Oh, they're moving for a bit. Okay, hang on. Have you done an exit interview with them yet? Oh, no, we don't do that as a business.
Why?
Right. Okay, fine. You don't do it as a business. I hear that. Do you not want to know? If you came home tomorrow and your wife's emptied the house and gone, are you going to go, oh, well, I don't do exit interviews?
That's one hell of an exit.
Do you know what I mean? I don't do exit interviews.
Yeah.
If you rocked up for your Sunday league game and none of your mates turned up, you go, I don't do exit interviews. I don't care. Whatever. That person's the problem. We know that straight away, right?
Yeah.
But again, as a recruiter, not a salesperson, but a proper recruiter, should be going, I really think you should do an exit interview. You think when does this candidate leave? Well, they leave next Thursday. And then you have not got any time to sit down with them between now and next Thursday. No. Well, I'll tell you what then. Part of the retainer that I'm going to position to you, why don't I do the exit interview?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Don't give it to HR. Why don't
I have done. From time to time. Yeah.
Two things. Number one, I want to know.
Yeah.
They might be inclined to tell me things that they don't want to tell you. But number two, if it's something important that you need to know about, I'm going to feed that back to you, and that's going to strengthen our relationship. If somebody sits down with you who's your wife's friend and says, listen, you did this thing the other day and it really, really annoyed her to the point where she's she thinks this might be it. You're going to respect that friend for going, you've told me that and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You're not going to go, well, how dare you? What are you telling me that for? Right? It's sort of human behavior. We sort of think that in the work world, people operate differently. Yeah. These are machines. Well, go figure.
But I think that goes back to self-critiquing. We self-critique. What could we have done better there? And owners of businesses that's part and parcel of that self-critique, surely.
You'd think, but I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the it's astonishing that how few business owners and senior people actually lack the ability to do that certainly in my experience. And it's only and perhaps nobody's ever asked them the question. I mean, it could be there's a certain element of that. And so the conversations I have with a new client who doesn't know me from Adam, you know, I take it down that direction every time if they want my help in recruiting a role, because I can't do my job properly without that knowledge, you know, and actually it's not just that though, Nitin. I love it. I love what I do. And I want to. I know that's one of the reasons you and I get on so well. Is we have this shared passion, don't we, Pauline? For it's getting it right for the client, but it's getting it right for the candidate, and seeing that fit work every time. That's just like, you know, winning the lottery for me almost. You know, because I've still got it.
Do you think emotional empathy plays a big part in being able to be a successful recruiter then?
I don't.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes. Yeah. I think you have to. I think you have to be careful that it doesn't override other things. Yeah. But there's a balance, and you have to be naturally empathetic, I think, and to understand, and particularly if somebody's having a bad day. And again, going back to, you know, letting candidates know when they haven't been successful. And, you know, the number of times I hear from, you know, my candidates is that recruiters haven't gone back to them. They were said my CV was perfect, and there's no such thing as perfection in anything. No, everybody.
Too right.
And then I've never heard another word from them, and they don't answer. They're not taking my calls. You know, and recruiters complain enough about candidates ghosting them. Yeah. Well, you know, what about recruiters ghosting candidates?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, so we spoke about this as well, right? And sort of off camera and stuff. That I just don't think that AI can be relied on to replace the recruitment side of what we do.
The emotional aspect.
Absolutely, because it doesn't have that capability, but it does have the capability of keeping you informed.
Yeah,
I'll take it back to that analogy all the time. If Domino's can tell me where the fuck my pizza is, you can tell me where my application is. I refuse to believe that, right? If Uber can tell me how far away my Uber driver is and what street he's turning into, you can tell me that no one's seen my application yet, right? You could do that. You're choosing not to because you know that the hiring process is broken, because you know that actually there are 300 applications here and we haven't seen them. We haven't looked at your CV. That's the God's honest truth. But do you not think by telling somebody that we haven't got round to looking at your CV
they
yet?
Deserve to know.
You know, do you not think that gives them some level of comfort? Because when you don't do that, what you're then doing is sparking a whole load of doors and windows of, am I not good enough? Is it me? Was my CV not good enough?
Self-worth.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And that anxiety and stuff then creeps into people's mindsets. And that's when you hear, and I've heard of candidates spending thousands with CV rewriters. And I've gone, show me your original CV. And they've shown it to me. And I'm like, there was fuck all wrong with this. And I've gone, well, I just never used to hear back from anywhere. And I'm going, you're working with the wrong agencies. You're applying for the wrong jobs. That's why you're not hearing back. It's nothing to do with your CV. Like, you know. But then you've got all these different people that will take advantage of these people that are in this mindset now, because they're like, I just don't hear back. It's me, I'm the problem. And then when they do finally get an interview, they go in so desperate to achieve it and to succeed that they give the worst version of themselves because they're so stressed out and they're so overworked with the job hunting that they're just switched off. And then actually, if they do get the job, are you going to get the best version of them? No, because the hiring process is broken and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. How many times have you guys heard now even, oh yeah, I'm out of work at the minute, but fucking hell, looking for a job's a full-time job in itself.
Yes,
all the time. I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Should it be?
No.
We live in a one-click apply world.
I know, and that's the thing. The reliance on technology and by companies, particularly larger companies, and you know, is completely wrong in my opinion. They've just again, because all they see is the volume. They don't appreciate that each one is a person.
That's it.
And I think
they aren't widgets.
No, absolutely not. you know.
Yeah, where you can discard the broken ones.
On a production line.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
through.
Discard the broken ones. Take the cracked ones and put them in a bag. Somebody will buy them. You know, but we have this like lean manufacturing process management approach to people.
I know.
That's the bit I find disgusting about the whole AI revolution and evolution in the recruitment space. Because again, agencies, we're bad for it too. We will buy, and I keep using this term, SaaS companies and software as a service. No, you sell harassment as a service. And we will buy your harassment as a service software so that we can harass a multitude more candidates and clients and disappoint them with our shit service. You know?
I know.
Oh, I'm going to promise you the world and deliver you nothing. You know? Oh, I'm going to put your CV everywhere and cost you opportunities because I've done that, and then never pick up the phone to you again. Because the businesses that are buying that tech, that's what they do. That's how they operate. So how does that leave you guys then? Because you guys are, and we spoke about this off camera, right? Does it not feel sometimes like you're just wading through a sea of shit, trying to do good?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. But I'll give an example. So I recently recruited for one of my clients I've known for a very long time, and I'm looking for the best person for that candidate, for that client. You know, I've shortlisted the applicants. I've actually cherry-picked the candidates that I think are right, and I've physically picked up that phone 23 times to shortlist the top 5.
Right.
Because I want a conversation with them. I want to understand them. It's not just about the piece of paper. I want to understand their drivers, whether they're right for that job or not. And then I shortlist that person down, the top 3 to 5 people back to that client. That's what that client is paying for me to do. And in that course of time, you hear those horror stories that you're talking about. And the client, the candidate quite often will say, it's so nice to speak to somebody. It's so nice that you've rung me today. Has it really got to this? This is how broken it is. It's just not right for the candidate.
Is that a reflection of the world that we live in?
Yeah.
Because
I think it's been building for a long time.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. But I'll give you an example. Every Friday we go for me and my closest pals, and we'll go for a beer, or 2 or more, and a cigar if the weather's nice, right? Every Friday, it's non-negotiable. We happened to land on this place because we were like, oh, it's got a rooftop terrace, and let's see if it's open. It wasn't open, but we decided to stay anyway. And this was 3.5, maybe 4 years ago, and we haven't moved from that place a single Friday for the last nearly 4 years.
Wow.
Because of the service that we got the day that we first went there, which was, what are you gentlemen looking for? Well, yeah, no problem. Take a seat. I'll bring it over to you. Would you like to start a tab? No problem. Great. Brings the drinks over. What are you guys doing here tonight? Oh, we just come for a quiet drink. Yeah, rooftop terrace isn't open. No, it's not. But, it opens at this time of the year. You should come back about that time. But hopefully we'll see you again. My name's Adam. Shook all our hands, blah, blah. The next week we went, gents, same again as last time. Yeah, take a seat. I'll bring it over to you. Are we doing the tab again? Yeah. It's your turn to pay this time, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
That, back in the day, was the standard pub experience in any pub that you would walk into ever. That today is an elite level experience that we are now going, oh, I feel so special.
And appreciated.
Yeah. You were doing nothing different to what you did in 1994 when you made your first ever candidate phone call. And here you are in 2025 and you've been thanked for it and appreciated for it. Is that not fucking bizarre? Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know?
Well, I just think
strange.
it's very sad. It shows how far it's all fallen. And I think that, but again, I think we come from an era, don't we? And I think that's another thing of where life didn't move as fast as it's now moving, and so the pernicious social media that's out there that spreads so much unhappiness, in my opinion, and the lies and everything else. We didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And it was all about conversation, face to face or on the telephone,
Yeah.
dialing the number, and I think,
the fact that you did that.
I know, darling. Yes, I'm that old, and but and also the pressure on time
Yes.
wasn't as acute as it is now because of the technology. Everything is moving so fast, and this is not me being a Luddite. It really is. I appreciate technology and it has its place, but we are human beings at the end of the day.
No, but we're at a race to just get just pointless, dumb shit out now.
Well, I know, and
Because it's right. I was probably one of the most excited people about AI when it first came out, and we jumped straight into it and learnt it and put it onto our platform to people to use and come and play with it. I was the biggest advocate. And then you kind of start looking at it and go, well, where's the use case here? I don't understand what's happening here. Like, what is happening to this? This is supposed to be game changing, but it's not. It's just increasing the volume of rubbish that's being produced and being put out there, right?
And you don't know what to believe anymore now either,
Look
do
at
you?
this and I go, oh yeah, and I'm scrolling through my TikTok feed or whatever because I enjoy, my brain rot through social media, and I'm like, these AI generated videos that are like 20 seconds long are probably, and no, not even probably, I know, are costing the business that made this between $5 and $10 to produce. Countless acres of data centers are being put up in space of forests and housing and all the rest of it. The amount of energy that's being used up. For me to watch a 20-second stupid video, and you're telling me this is the future. You're telling me this is the direction that the world's moving to. There's people out there who are choosing between heating their homes and eating. And you're telling me that the ability to produce a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti in a funny way is more important than figuring out how to house the entire population of the world and feed them and make sure that children don't starve to death. This is the bizarre world that we're now kind of entering into. But you're absolutely right. The world went and got itself in like a rush. And I think what I love about this is that even just this morning on my LinkedIn feed, I've seen 4 people posting that they have either just returned from or are going on a social media break and having a break from LinkedIn as well. Right? 2 of them were a team network.
Oh, right. Okay.
Lauren and Isabel were like, just first post this week since following my, like my social media kind of detox. A good pal of mine who I do some charity stuff with and whatever, Sanjay, in the recruitment world. He went on a retreat where it was no phone, no nothing, just switch off and go. You guys were at the team conference, they did the net walk. Isn't it bizarre that people are willing to just put their phones away and just go for a walk with complete strangers and get to know them?
Yeah.
Like, this is the world that I think is slowly starting to kind of crop up, and I think actually the better recruiters,
coming back.
Yes, I think the better recruiters absolutely will acknowledge that, see that, and then jump straight into that. Right, this is the way the market's moving. This is the way the world's moving, and this is where we need to be. Not be harassing people and ignoring people.
It's part of us.
It is
how
part
many
of us.
vacancies can you actually manage?
Precisely.
Right.
And we're solopreneurs, aren't we? So
exactly.
And how many do we actually need to manage in order to have a nice life? Thank you very much. And I think I feel very, very lucky that I still love what I do.
Me too.
Some 40 years on, or almost 40 years on, and I just love it. I've never got bored of it. I care passionately about making people happy. And if that's by putting candidate with the right company to work for and vice versa, and I just get such a kick out of it.
I still get those.
I love it.
Your thing.
It is my thing. It's absolutely my thing, and I heading towards my dotage now, but and the fact that I've still got that passion. You're laughing, but
but even we talked about it, when the candidate becomes a client, they've known you, the best part of 15, 20 years. And they're still connecting with you when they have that role. Or vice
Do you know what? My benchmark of finding out how much people actually care about what they do, I always ask them the name of their first placement. Mine was Karen Morton. I remember it. Not because of how it made me feel and the fee that I made. I remember the fee. It was £3,600. Nothing to write home about. But I remember because she'd been out of work for 6 weeks and was worried about her bills. And when she got the call, she was like, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Let me buy you a beer. And I met her in the pub that night, like our local pub to the both of us, and we shared a pint. And I was like, this is all right, you know. This job might be the one.
It's funny, I remember my first placement.
What was your first placement?
It was a guy that I placed. It was called Andrew. I can't remember his surname. I think it was Wills. And I remember it so distinctively because my manager at the time really shocked me because she actually did cartwheels all down the room. And the fee back then was $5,500.
Wow,
1999, so it was a nice first placement.
Yeah. That would have been a big boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Covered the office cost that much, you did. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I do remember it well.
What was your first placement?
I think, well, you'll have to forgive me because it is a very long time since I did it. But I can remember my very first temp I put out. In fact, that was probably my first piece of work, actually, because my original agency it ended up predominantly temp because we did a lot of temp to perm for MBNA and M&S Money on the Chester Business Park. And but it was before that, so it would have been the end of '88, and it was a friend of mine, Sarah, who basically she came to see me a month after I'd started, and I said, get your coat off, sit down. I said, I need some help. And so she became my admin support. Then I'd put her out on temp assignments as and when they came in. It was just in those first couple of months, 2 or 3 months. And so she was my first, she went out on as a temp. So it was great. Yeah, and that was and then the client was a client for a long time. Yeah.
One of my closest friends now, I placed him in a job. He was a friend of a friend. It was only a temp contract, like an admin job at the Skills Funding Agency around the corner. And I rang one mate. It was like, do you know anyone out of work? Like, this is a piss easy job. This guy literally just turn up and not be racist. They'll be fine. Like, it's like literally as easy as that. And it was like, well, I can't guarantee it, but kind of might be worth having a shot with. Fine. So sent him along and whatever. And we then stayed in touch. Then we became closer friends and all the rest of it. And he only recently told me, he was like, do you know when you placed me in that job, I literally had £2 left in my bank.
Oh, bless him.
Like, I did not know how I was going to feed myself that week. And then when you told me it was weekly pay, I was like, buzzing. And I just had to get through to the end of the week. I borrowed a bit of money from my mum. But I know I've never told you that, but that was... I needed that at that time.
How long did he stay there?
Oh, he was only there 6 months.
Well,
about 6 months. Yeah, about 6 months.
Right.
And then he do you know what? It's funny how life turns out, because actually then he ended up going into marketing. And then when my recruitment business failed and I was just setting up all of this on my own, he was out of work. And so he came and joined me for like a month or two just to kind of help me steer the ship a bit and sort of figure things out and that kind of thing. And then I helped him get a job with a client of mine, and then he went on to work for Triumph Motorcycles. He's sort of now he's finally doing the job that's perfect for him, sort of thing. But yeah, and funny how things work out. Yeah,
yeah, it is. Well,
I say to him all the time, it's mad. I placed you in this little shitty admin job, and actually you came and helped me out.
That whole relationship thing of you've made a call, you've started to work with these guys, and nothing's changed over the years.
Yeah.
But we have.
Well, we've grown, and our
society has. So when I say we, I mean like the society.
Oh, I see. Right.
You know what I mean? When you say nothing's changed, no, the process hasn't changed. No. Like how to do the process hasn't changed. Sorry, the way to do it hasn't changed. The way we do it has changed as a society. And isn't it funny that when you look at all the stats and stuff like that, there's yet to be anyone who's made significant productivity or profitability changes by adopting technology, as in AI, in place of people. Yet we all seem to still think that that's the route to go down.
I know I think technology has its place without a doubt. Of course it does. I mean, we made some huge advances, but it cannot replace human beings.
And it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. No. That shouldn't be the focus.
There was something about Amazon, wasn't there, the other week, about them taking out 14,000 jobs around the world and replacing them with AI?
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
So I put a post out about this, and I've actually had quite a few people message and be like, I'd never say that in public, but I'm glad you did. And I said recently that AI isn't what's taking your job. It's poor leadership. These businesses are already financially stressed and stretched because pre-AI, it was digital transformation. We're taking out a layer because of digital transformation. And prior to that, it was restructuring. It was always called something. What it is it's poor businesses that have made poor hiring decisions, whether hired too many people or too many of the wrong people, not seen an increase in productivity, shareholders getting frustrated and pissed off, and then they'll go, we need to make hiring cuts. But you cannot make hiring cuts if you're a PLC without the shareholders going, what's going on here? Why are we having to do this? Unless you have a rationale. And this time the rationale is AI. That's all it is. It's a scapegoat is what AI is. That's what I think. I think it's a massive bubble. You guys lived through you worked through the the .com bubble. You would have seen sort of the ridiculousness that was going on when you could, literally start a business called, table.com and go and get £500,000 to like £3 million worth of VC funding straight away.
I know.
What do you do? We'll figure that out. We're a .com business though.
Yeah. The latest.
I mean,
buzzword.
I can remember being in recruitment. I've been in recruitment 4 years. I'd done a perms desk and a temps desk successfully, and I was promoted to becoming the manager. Came the manager, and I'll be honest, I hated being a manager for 2 years. 2 years, I just did not like being a manager. And it was that whole concept of moving from knowing your game, knowing what you're doing, really being in the thick of everything, to now managing people to do the same as what you did. And
you're good at it now. Show other people to do.
There's a gap
I'm not an
there.
educator.
Yeah. And it took me a while. It took me a while to really be at peace with that role.
That's the problem with meritocracy, though, isn't it? With like when you promote and you give pay rises based purely upon financial performance, that meritocracy model has often shown that it fails eventually.
Yes. And
people burn out, and people leave, and all the rest of it.
But being a manager is a different role.
It's a different role. Yeah, you should, I had this argument all the time that a management role within any business, recruitment specifically in this scenario, shouldn't be a billing role. No. Footballers don't have player managers. Well, sometimes they do, but for the most part, Alex Ferguson wasn't on the pitch. He was a manager. His job was to manage the team to get the best out of them from a performance point of view. But then he's got isn't it funny how and we've all done the big corporate thing. Everyone uses those high functioning, high performance sports analogies all the time, but no one actually looks at it and goes, well, hang on. 90% of their time they're spending learning, developing, on training. The actual doing the do is like a small portion of what they do all week. How much time do we as businesses and business owners historically have had spent on us with training?
Exactly. I know. Exactly. Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, doesn't it? And it's a real problem, and it's not getting any easier. I've watched my son go through 2 companies, over the last sort of 8 years. Appalling managers where people have been promoted because they've done a good job and been, and they just haven't got a blooming clue.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what is wrong? Anyway.
So you asked me this off camera just before Kirsty arrived. So I'm going to and I didn't ask you back at the time because I wanted to ask you on camera. So how do we fix it, Pauline?
Oh wow, what a question!
Long have you got?
Do we fix it?
Because I told you my answer. Yeah. How do we fix it?
Personally, for me, and I might be really wrong here. Probably will be. I don't know, but I think AI is incredible. I think what it can do, how things are changing, it blows my mind every time I use any AI or see AI in action. I can't come away from it. There's a scary side of it. I think for now in recruitment, particularly for the next 12 months, 18 months, maybe 24 months, it'll do a full 360. I think there's so much noise about AI at the minute. There's so much confusion. There's so many platforms. There's so many people trying to sell you different things. And for us, being authentic recruiters, it's a great time for us.
I think so too.
We get under the skin of what's really happening with the client and a candidate. And really our job is to marry the two. And that there's no complication there.
No, it's a very simple...
and a thorough interview on both parts. and making sure that match happens. And I think it will take some time to have some trust in AI with recruitment. Definitely. Because yes, it has a place in potentially like shortlisting, but there will be people falling through the net, always.
Yes, I think it has its part to play, but it should not be relied upon as the be all and end all of the, when you're recruiting. And
You're right. I've always said it should be the lab assistant, not the lab.
That's a very good way of
Yeah.
putting it,
Yeah.
Nitin. Yes, and that's an excellent way of putting it, because at the end of the day, you are dealing with human beings, human emotions, which can be very unpredictable, very volatile, and it's about upskilling yourself as a hiring manager in whatever form that takes, is to make sure you know how to find out what that person's really all about. Because at the end of the day, it's all about behaviours. We've been talking a lot about this. Ultimately, it's about behaviours, and what kind of behaviours do we want in our business in that role to make it work for everybody. And then the other thing, in my opinion, is that the C-suite, the leadership team, need to make sure they really understand that their business is only as good as the people that are in it, and that includes themselves, and that it is that no one department is a silo on its own. It's there's the big company jigsaw, isn't it? We all fit together, and as a jigsaw puzzle, as it were, and that makes us the united strength of that makes us who we are, and we all have a part to play. And recognizing everybody's contribution, even just a simple thank you, goes a hell of a long way. I mean, I remember years ago with my first agency, when I had just taken on a new member of the team, and at the end of the day, she was leaving the office. I said, thanks ever so much. I'll see you tomorrow. And she stopped and looked at me. She said, what have you said thank you for? I said, sorry. And she said, what have you said? I said, because you've just done a good day's work, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. She said, nobody I've ever worked for before has ever said thank you. And okay, that was a long time ago, but I'm thinking, well,
I don't think that, I think there's probably more people that were still.
Yeah, exactly right.
100% there would be.
But any company is only as good as the people in it, and you as the business owner, managing director, and the senior leadership team, you have a duty of care to look after your people and make sure that they feel valued and appreciated and supported when needed.
Absolutely.
And yes, you then have a right to expect them to do a good job for you and to do their job properly. And it's a two-way street. We come back to the two-way street every time.
The other thing as well is the whole AI piece. How many people out there are looking at their careers and thinking, is my career, is there longevity in my career?
A lot of people. I think the answer to that is there's a lot of people thinking that, right?
Are they looking at changing their careers? What can they diversify into? What are they going to do in the future? And maybe that could affect the exec senior level of attracting the right candidates, which I think is maybe happening already. Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Yeah, exactly.
The AI piece gonna make me redundant?
Yeah, it's a really good point. It's a really, really good point.
Yes, but we are interesting times.
I think you're right, and I think we've always been in interesting times. We have every year we say that, right? Oh, it's just in interesting times. I think we just never came out of interesting times.
Well, that's human race for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to leave us with? Anything that you, live your life by that you think would be inspirational and people would find comfort in?
I just think appreciate every day and treat each other with kindness and thought. We are human beings. We all have a part to play in this world of ours. And just be nice to the people you come across every day.
Love that.
I hear that, definitely. I think for me, enjoy your time. If you're in a job and you're not happy and you're looking for a new opportunity, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are opportunities that can be available for those people. And try and get that into perspective. We say it sometimes, it's just a job. It's just a job. Your life after work as well is equally as important. And getting that into perspective, really. There are clients out there and candidates that can be married up together and have a really good relationship. And there are success stories out there. and try not to be despondent with how things are going on. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Like that. I love that. Right. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time, your insights, your thoughts. This has been
Pleasure,
incredibly thought-provoking and a really enjoyable conversation. Thank you.
And thank you, Nitin. It's been great fun.
Honestly,
Really good
it's my
fun. I
pleasure.
really enjoyed it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Guys, that's all from us. If you want to hear more from Pauline or Kirsty, do follow them on LinkedIn. Their business pages, their personal LinkedIn pages, and any other links that we need access to will be in the descriptions of the podcast below. Thank you for liking, watching, sharing, subscribing, doing all the cool shit that you guys do that allow me to have one of these.
Yay!
I appreciate you.
Well done.
New episodes.
First one ever, guys.
Yes, that's right. That is right. Yeah, Kirsty and Pauline were very shocked when I told them that actually nobody has ever done this in the recruitment industry. And
phenomenal.
so it's appreciated. Thank you.
Well,
New episodes drop every Wednesday and every Friday. We'll see you again next time. Ciao.
Bye.
Ladies, thank you so much. My first recommendation to you is Infinity Staff Global. Ross and the team specialise in finding you outsourced and offshore staff based out in South Africa. I can talk from experience, fantastic members of staff, but they can help you get 180-degree recruiters, 360-degree recruiters, back office support, marketing professionals, or even business development professionals for your team. Link in the comments. Next up is Matt Fox and Exodus Advisory. If you're an agency that's looking for guidance and growth advice, if you're looking for mentoring, if you're looking for a recruitment leader to take you from startup through to sell up, Matt Fox is your guy. This is a person who recently went through exiting an agency, explored all the different options, and is very well placed to help you tailor your business model and your business strategy to achieving the exit that you are looking for. My next recommendation is SourceFlow. Now, there's lots of reasons to recommend SourceFlow, but one that stands out for me is their attribution analytics and their actual ROI tools. So SourceFlow shows you agencies exactly where every candidate and every client lead comes from, and soon you'll even be able to do revenue analytics and let you decide and figure out the ROI of every placement that's been made via your website. Again, link in the comments. My next recommendation is the Marketing Junction. So if you're looking to increase your sales and profits, reduce costs, and choose recruitment marketing specialists who've got years of hard-won experience, get in touch with Robert Woodford and the team and take your recruitment marketing that little bit more seriously. My final recommendation for you is none other than Conquest. Carl and the team are the only commission management platform in the recruitment industry. So if you're looking to automate, calculate, and motivate your recruiters using their commission structures, if you want to keep an eye out what's going on, if you want advice and recommendations on how you should be structuring your commissions, get in touch with Carl and the team. Link in the descriptions.